I booked my ticket on Cunard's Queen Mary 2's transatlantic crossing, and I'm leaving in less than a week at this point. Hi, I'm Chet. I'm a dentist, and then I did my MBA in finance. And on my channel, I share videos about maintaining a budget while maintaining a lifestyle from the perspective of a solo Gen Xer. In my previous video, I broke down the pricing of my fare and ancillary costs. I want to make a few corrections to that. So I said that the gratuity is $136. That's $17 per day. The fare, and they've included the shuttle in the overall fare and the taxes and the port costs and things like that in the overall fare, and that's $2,291. And this is for a enclosed balcony, a sheltered balcony, as they call it. It gives you a couple of feet square footage, but you don't get any of the perks of specialty dining with it. And as a vegetarian, I may not care so much about it, about the specialty dining. So my Uber to the Brooklyn Pier I live in New Jersey. The Uber ride over is going to be $100 and around that, let's say. I have already booked a lunch and learn. I give credit to Intently Travelers or Travel Intently vloggers on YouTube. They said you absolutely must, especially for somebody who enjoys wine. This is like 8 glasses of wine and a tasting, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I think $81 is well worth the price for something of that nature on such a ship, right? This is not just my neighborhood bar or restaurant. The budget that I am giving myself is $480 for drinks per diem, or per diem is about $60. So for the entire journey of, I'm calculating 8 nights. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be drinking every single day, but and that's through alcohol. But I might have a cappuccino, a latte, a hot chocolate, So I don't want to say no to myself. I don't want to say no to myself for these little things that I want to experience on the ship. Because there's a lot that I'm saying no to. I have to think about a $150 spa package, if that is available on the ship, and that's, I believe, like an unlimited spa package for $150. Might be well worth it, but I usually do a lot of spa-ing in India, so I'm on the fence about that. So that's going to add to my overall cost of bringing that to $3,238, which is $405 a day. So if you take room and board at around $200 a day, it's about $205 on top of that I am paying tickets for these many events, tickets for these many lessons, tickets for these many gala parties, of which there are 2. And that certainly is going to be much more than, let's say, $200 for 8 days. That's going to be more than $1,600, right? That I'll be paying for that. So it's not cheap, but it's, I think, well worth it. Now, my onward journey, since I'm going onward to India, is $460, bringing my overall total to $3,700. That's a lot, especially because I have to come back, right? I had to come back home. And if I'm taking my budget as $6,000, $3,700 is quite a bit. of it. And I might have to go a little extra. However, now, the only reason I am okay with this trip is because this year itself, I have saved all that I could in my tax deferred and my brokerage and a little extra in my mortgage. Plus being a homeowner and for the first year. Okay, so I have already, back of the envelope calculator, I have already saved over $50,000. And most of that is in tax deferred. And most of that is something that I cannot even touch. So for another 20 years. Well, maybe not that long. But I've done good. I've done good this year. I've maxed out my 401k and I have a Roth, right? So I've mixed between the two. I've maxed out my HSA. I've maxed out my catch up. I've paid extra to pay my mortgage down, because this year, more than focusing on padding my brokerage account, I have been putting it in towards my mortgage, because interest rates are very high. I'm paying 6.75%, and it doesn't look like once it starts touching 5.75, 5.5, then it makes sense to refinance. Till then, I want to get into a good shape of where I can refinance. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is, what am I going to wear on the Queen Mary 2 transatlantic crossing? And it has to fulfill a couple of criteria. I don't have a problem with the weight allowance, and because of my onward journey from London to Bangalore, the ticket that I got on Air India includes 50 pounds worth of luggage. So I think I'm going to be okay with what I'm planning on taking, which includes like more than half of a suitcase of my mother's things that she wants me to give away to people over there, all of her saris. But I have to plan for a couple of events on the ship, as well as a couple of events in India, one of which is my reunion. And I have a Roaring 20s ball on the ship, and I have a Gatsby-inspired masquerade ball at my reunion. So that's going to play double duty score. I have a red and black gala, and I have an Indian ethnic wear event at my reunion as well. And that's going to play double duty for those events. So the events I have pretty well sorted out. It's everything in between, right? The real life of it. Now, on the Queen Mary 2, let's not forget, one of the major draws for me is afternoon tea. Every day at 3 o'clock, or is it 3:30, is afternoon tea, which I shall be availing of. I'm not availing of the champagne tea, because that's like $48 for one glass of champagne. And the same scones. What's the point? So there's no point. So I will be availing of afternoon tea with tea. Not to be confused with high tea. And the difference between the two is high tea is more of a meal. Okay? It's more of heavy type of food, while afternoon tea are these pastries or finger sandwiches, right? Those little dainty finger sandwiches. I love afternoon tea. So I have a couple of dresses fit for that with gloves. I'm really leaning into the costume, the dressing up. I'm gonna really ham it up. enough talking about it. Let me show you what I'm talking about. And I have to iron. I have to iron. It's such a mess. And I also have my family coming to visit. This is one of the guest rooms. So I have a lot to do. This is where I'm putting clothes that I need to put in my suitcases at this point. This is an option for the red and black ball at on the ship. I'm sorry, on the ship, and I have like black bottoms for this. This is an Indian kurta, and I have a salwar that goes underneath it. Else, I have an option that's just different. Else, I can wear something like this. It is to me a little more pinkish, but I think it's fancy enough that nobody's going to really hate me if I wear it. But I wouldn't wear this to my reunion event. I would maybe wear it for another Bangalore event. And here are my high tea. They're pretty frocks. You know, think about it with short gloves. And since it's winter on the North Atlantic, these are kind of like mittens. I mean, they're thicker gloves. They're not like my opera gloves, which are thin but long. But that's also an option to wear these. And I'll be taking at least one little black dress. I haven't decided on which one. Perhaps this, because I've already been seen in this. This is another option for black and red with, this is the red bottom with it. And it's also an option for my reunion. Taking a blazer, possibly, to keep warm. It is an old ship. And it's big, right? And I like to be cozy and warm, and I will start being really nasty if I'm cold. To wander around outside on the promenade, I have a thick sweatshirt that I can layer, and this is from the previous hedge fund that I worked at. Let's see, and I'm going to be taking some workout clothes because I am going to work out by hook or by crook. At some point, I shall be working out. And I have my 20s era thing. I didn't spend a whole lot of money, but I did spend a little bit of money only because I have 2 events. If I did not have 2 back-to-back events, I would have just worn a black dress, my gloves, and I would have called that the Roaring 20s. Okay, I would not have gotten more intense than that. Now I have to iron some of these clothes and put them in the suitcase. But I also see on the Queen Mary 2, and possibly in every cruise, I have no idea, but you are allowed to take a bottle of wine per person. So I like my sparkling, I like my champagne, I like things like that, and I like mimosas. So I am going to take a bottle of sparkling. I'm not going to take my champagne that I got from Champagne. So I have a stopper for that, especially that I have somewhere in this thing. I have those. I have to take my own conditioner. So the brand, have you heard of this brand? It's called Penhaligon. Penhalion? I don't know. It's called something like that. It's a British brand of toiletries. They don't have conditioner, and Chet needs to do conditioner, or her hair, I mean, I can't get the shampoo out of my hair if I don't use conditioner. So I will be packing my own conditioner. They have the other toiletries. I will not be packing a hair dryer because they have one in one of the influencers that I saw on YouTube. It sounded pretty strong for my hair, which is great. New toothpaste for sure, and obviously the accoutrements. I think for tea, I will take my little handbag. And you know, I got this in Vegas. I got this in Vegas when we were staying at Caesar's Palace. I'm going back to the year 2000, I think. And I've hardly ever used it. It's been more of a prop. And I'm going to get so much of use out of it this trip. It's wonderful. Same with this evening bag. This was a gift from my sister. And it's lovely. And it's always been in fashion. I've just never been able to use it because it didn't really go with what I was wearing, and you can't fit your cell phone in here, right? And she gave it to me after the days of cell phone came, and it's just like everyday usage. So not very functional, but I'm not going to need my cell phone except to take pictures on the ship. We'll be taking this messenger bag, and this is a classic. And if you know, you know. This is Manhattan Portage. Back when they were making it in New York, and I was, I went to NYU. So my friends got this for my birthday. Bunch of cheap asses. They combined their money and they got me this absolutely great bag. Couple of documents that I am packing that I need to take. I have my passport. I have what is called an OCI card, which is the equivalent of what an American green card is, but for India. It's an overseas citizen of India, where I don't need a travel visa to go to India. And now American citizens can't just go to the UK willy-nilly and just get their passport stamped at immigration. You have to get something that's called an ETA, something transit, something authorization. So that's about $20. Very easy to apply for, and I got mine lickety-split. My passport is brand new, so there's no threat of it expiring within 6 months to have any issues traveling in the world. I'm remembering to pack my bathing suit, 2 of them, and bathing robe, slippers, because I will need that in India as well. So right now at this point, the biggest problem is, what am I going to wear every day? So I'm not a big fan of wearing jeans every single day. I have to figure that out.